Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On and October's Games with Gold.
So if you're an Xbox Live Gold subscriber, you get 4 free games to play each month on your Xbox One. So let's take a look at October's offerings.
If you prefer to take your foot off the pedal when it comes to games and enjoy the story and experience more than the gunfight and explosions, then Gone Home is perfect for you. More of an interactive first-person storytelling experience, think along the lines of What Remains of Edith Finch and Tacoma. It's a slow-paced, shorter game which involves uncovering secrets, betrayal, and a family story that is deeper than it looks from the outside. You'll be playing the part of Katie, a 21-year-old who returns home from overseas to see her family. When she arrives home, she finds her house deserted, with only a suspicious note left behind from Katie's sister telling her not to investigate what happened. I mean, that's just asking for a good old-fashioned investigation, right? It's like when there's a big red button which says do not press. Of course we're gonna press it! Who do you think we are? Whilst there are no set goals in the game, you're encouraged to explore as much as possible. Pick up all the objects you find and get a feel for the environment. It's by doing this you'll start to piece together what exactly happened to Katie's family. Though the setting may be nothing out of the ordinary, it's somewhat unsettling, and you can't help but want to find out more as you work out what took place to make everyone leave. I won't spoil anything as that's the whole charm of Gone Home, the engrossing story, but it's safe to say it sucks you in. There's also extra secrets to uncover if you really go to town with your exploring, bringing in an even darker edge to the story. So put the kettle on, put your feet up, and let your mind get lost in the intriguing, twisty world of Gone Home. If you've been watching us for a while, you'll know that I'm crazy about Rayman Origins and Legends. I can't get enough of the limbless wonder and his bizarre brand of elbow-free platforming. But before our hero was bounding through these 2D worlds, he took a trip into the third dimension. Now, thanks to Games with Gold, you can all enjoy his second 3D adventure, Rayman 3 HD. It's one of those classic platformers where every colour of the rainbow has been crammed into your TV, and every inch of the game world is packed with shiny tokens to collect. If you've played Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, or this year's Yooka-Laylee, you'll have some idea of what to expect. In Rayman's case, you're trying to make it through platforming gauntlets while smacking up enemies and gobbling gemstones. Kill and collect quickly, and there's a combo effect which increases the value of all your actions, making it really satisfying when you work out a way to stitch all of your moves into one flowing motion. One look at scores on the online leaderboards shows you the mad feats of platforming prowess that are achievable. Aiding you in your quest for dizzying scores are additional powers in the form of laser washing powder. Each of these cans gives Rayman a brief burst of power. The Vortex, for example, lets him fire mini tornadoes, which are good for wiping out enemies and winding down these screw platforms. Pick up the heavy metal fists and you're an unstoppable punching machine who can also do a number on any door dumb enough to stand in your way. Again, knowing when to grab a power-up in order to string together a mega combo leads to some surprisingly skillful play. Of course, you can't talk about Rayman without mentioning its weird sense of humour. Rayman and friends are still some of the strangest characters to live in our hard drive, from the grinning Murphy to whatever the hell Glowbox is meant to be. Just in the opening 5 minutes, we see Glowbox accidentally steal Rayman's hands. Serves him right for going arm-free, leaving our useless hero to be airlifted to safety. And the game is packed with this kind of oddness, from characters that argue with their tutorial text boxes to the giant comic book sound effects that pop up when you land a mighty thwack. The strangest stuff is reserved for the bonus levels, where you surf beams of light through some of the trippiest level designs I've ever seen. Top tip, don't play Rayman after a cup of strong coffee. Your brain might not be able to handle it. But as hectic as it is, this bright, bubbly platformer comes recommended. It's a good workout for the fingers, and thanks to the power of Games with Gold, it can be downloaded right now. I give it 2 floating thumbs up.
Now, in this month's Games with Gold, you can get your hands on Medal of Honor Airborne, which I got super excited about because this was a game that when it first came out in 2007, I played it a ridiculous amount. The game is set in World War II, where you play as Boyd Travers, who's in the 82nd Airborne Division in missions across Europe in places like northern France, Italy, and of course, Germany. And something that I have to say is what's not to love about this game as a first-person shooter fan, when the first thing that you do is get pushed out of an aeroplane as you practice parachute jumps, which is something that you don't see in other first-person shooters, and that's because every mission you play in the single-player campaign for Medal of Honor Airborne starts with a parachute jump, which helps give the game a unique angle compared to other first-person shooter campaigns that you'll have played, like Call of Duty or Halo. And that's largely down to each mission giving you the choice in which order to do certain objectives, because as you parachute into the mission, there are various landing zones that you can aim for, which will obviously determine what objectives you'll likely do first. Though, one thing that you'll find yourself doing at the start of most levels is trying to complete all the parachute skill drops, as there are 5 on each level, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's quite fun trying to do them all. The game has 6 missions in total, each having multiple objectives for you to complete in the open world arena, but one thing I also really like with Airborne, and do let me know if you agree in the comments, is the way you go about upgrading your weapons. At the start of each round, you get to select your loadout, a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, and a sidearm. Now, while using the guns in the game, you level them up and gain upgrades, such as a foregrip on the Thompson, which increases its accuracy, or the ability to fire rifle grenades with the M1 Garand. Each weapon has a total of 3 upgrades, and once you've upgraded the weapon, that weapon will always be upgraded for you. So when you select it as part of your loadout in a different level, it'll have everything that you've unlocked for the gun so far. So I'd definitely recommend sticking with a couple of guns so you have them fully upgraded, especially if you're playing on expert difficulty. One feature I also really like in Airborne, which you don't find in games like Call of Duty, is the lean feature, which I completely abuse in Airborne. Whether I'm crouched behind a wall and just peeking over to take a few shots, or leaning around a doorway, which is something that you should make sure you do a lot, as it helps you not get killed. But for me, Medal of Honor has always been one of the best first-person shooter franchises, especially in the World War II era. And with Medal of Honor Airborne being free with your Xbox Live Gold membership this month with Games with Gold, it's definitely worth a playthrough, so make sure to download it from the 16th of October. Next up in this month's Games with Gold is a game that is definitely going to get your brain working, the Turing Test. Now, when I first booted this up on my Xbox One, I had no idea what to expect, and that's something that I love about Games with Gold and Xbox Game Pass, is that it gets me to try games that I otherwise might have missed or just not thought about playing. The start of the game almost feels a bit like you're walking into the start of an Alien film as you're woken up by a robot that looks somewhat like Disney's WALL-E, which is actually called Tom, and then you're the only person awake on this spaceship near one of Jupiter's moons, Europa. You then take a dropship down to the surface of Europa and into a research station, which is where the game really begins. Now, for those of you wondering, the Turing Test is a puzzle game, so if you're a fan of games like Portal, this is going to be one of your favorites in this month's Games with Gold, as it will give you a real mental challenge that is going to get more and more difficult the more you progress through the game, as well as more game mechanics being added to the puzzles that you'll have to learn, which make them more and more complicated, such as moving power across different areas with a magnet, or using your EMT gun to get yourself past moving platforms, and there are even puzzles that may require you to keep looking at a certain object, or the bridge will disappear from beneath your feet. And some of you may know that the real Turing Test was developed by Alan Turing in 1950, which is a test of a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to or indistinguishable from that of a human, which is why there's this little computer Easter egg across the bridge, which will also earn you a nice little achievement for 50 gamer score. But make sure you go and give it a download this month with Games of Gold if you think you've got what it takes to beat the Turing Test.
So there we have it, October's Games with Gold. Make sure to let us know down in the comments below which ones you're going to be playing. Also, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos.
And make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.